Hi, I'm Coach Sochukwu. In this video, I'll walk you through Neb Compute, our server provisioning service. We'll set up a server instance and create a simple static website that runs on that server. Now, let's create a server. First, you must name your instance. I'll be using test Nebula demo for this example. Then you select a software image, which is a pre-configured package of an operating system. Then an OS version. We'll be using Ubuntu 22.64-bit version. This helps you streamline the process of setting up your server. Next, you choose an instance type that has just the right amount of computing power and storage for your use case. We'll go with an S3 Medium 2 for this example. As you can see on my screen, during the whole process, you'll see how much your configuration will cost you upfront. For our own use case, we'll be charged 13 naira per hour for this instance type. Click on continue. The next will be network and security. In this step, you select a virtual private cloud or a VPC and a subnet that the server would belong to. These help you control your own virtual network environment by defining a range of available IP addresses with subnets and network gateways. I've already created a VPC and a subnet under it, so I'll just go ahead to select those. You can also select multiple security groups which help you define rules to control the incoming and outgoing traffic from your server. If you haven't done so, create a new key pair for secure authentication. Copy the parts of the private key that the Nebula console creates for you for the next stage. Just to show you, I'll set up a test key pair, test Nebula KP1. Then you can go ahead and copy the path. Before we finalize, check out the summary. The summary contains a log of all the actions you've taken and decisions you've taken up to this stage. It contains the instance name, which will be the instance name of the server, the software image and version, Ubuntu 22.64-bit server. It stipulates the instance type and the transparent pricing for that instance, which is at 30 naira 636 kobo per hour. It contains a summary of the networking configurations which you have done, with the number of virtual CPU, the bandwidth, and of course a monthly estimate that your instance will cost you. If everything looks good to you, you can go ahead to launch the server. The process of setting up your server instance takes a while to conclude. On your instance dashboard, you can see the list of instances you've created and their current status. We just created test Nebula demo and status is in progress. Now your server is ready. Now let's continue with connecting to the instance you just created, and then let's set up a simple web server. First, you need to connect to the server instance. In this example, we'll use SSH, which is a preferred protocol when connecting remotely to Linux-based server instances. You will need three pieces of information: your server's IP address. You can copy it right on this dashboard here, and also from the instance page, which has a list of your instances. Your SSH username, which for Ubuntu is root by default, and the path, which is the key pair you created when you are setting up your instance for authentication. Now open up your preferred shell application. I'm using a Mac, so that will be my terminal application. Key in the SSH command to log into a server instance using key pair, which is SSH I to identify the path to your identity file, which is the key pair PEM file we downloaded earlier. Then root, which is the username of the server, at the IP address of that server. Then you hit enter. So I'm already on the path where I moved the key pair to, and as you can see, I have the command and arguments properly written. So I'll just hit enter. For first time users who are connecting to a particular server for the first time, it's often common that you see this query on your screen. It says the authenticity of hosts with the IP address can't be established. It states the key fingerprint, which is an SHA fingerprint, and basically your computer is telling you that this connection is with a server that it does not know, and the key pair is foreign. It's asking you to say yes or no to connecting to that server. If you say yes, it adds the fingerprint of this new server to the SSH known hosts file on your local computer, which means your computer now knows this server. Next time you want to connect, you wouldn't see this challenge again. So I'll just type yes. You see it says permanently added the IP address with the SSH fingerprint to the list of known hosts. Now we are remotely connected to a server, the default configuration when you set up a GNU Linux distro. And of course, welcome to Nebula Cloud Service. Now let's go ahead to set up our web server. Whenever you log into a Linux server for the first time, it's often common practice to just update its local dependencies by running sudo apt update. It takes a couple of minutes to be done. Okay, that is done. Now we'll install Nginx. We'll be using Nginx for our server for this example. Please note that Nginx is popular for being a reverse proxy, but we're just using it for this example. You can set up whatever application that runs on Linux in your own use case. So sudo apt install Nginx. This will take a while. Now Nginx is running. We're going to set up just a simple static HTML file to run on this Nginx server. So we'll go into the static HTML folder. Now would add, you can see that Nginx has its own default static page there. Would add ours here. What that command is saying is asking the operating system to open the file index.html, but overriding the default editor to use Vim as the text editor. So we'll go ahead to enter a simple HTML file that just says, hello, welcome to Nebula. Already written it down, so I'll just paste. Then we'll go ahead to save. Yeah, now to be sure that our file has been added to this directory. Yeah, to view it, I prefer to use nano. You can use nano index.html. Yeah, and it's here. Now we need to restart the Nginx server running in the background to pick up these new configurations. So sudo systemctl restart Nginx. Let's, to be sure all is well, you can do systemctl Nginx status Nginx. Yeah, see, it's active and running, so all is well. Next, we go to visit the IP. By default, Nginx runs on the port 80 of your server, and our security group who has set up the server already allowed us to have incoming traffic hitting port 80 on our server instance. So now we'll go to check. Port 80 is a default port on IP addresses, so you don't need to indicate it. So I'll just paste the IP address of the server and we'll see what happens. It says, yeah, hello, welcome to Nebula. As you can see, the Nebula console offers a smooth developer experience while being fast and easy to use. So you can focus on building, iterating, and developing your product while we handle the rest for you.